Now you're back right here, baby.
In my kitchen.
And hey, what did Bo do when you went to pick him up?
Dude, I predicted, because he basically stayed at like a daycare / kennel thing that was just someone's house. I predicted that he was going to be pretty fucking chill because I thought he was going to be exhausted. Like, he was there for 12 days, hanging out with dogs all day, you know?
Right.
So that's exactly what it was. Like, he was
just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, he was fucking, like, filthy. Like, he smelled like he was covered in, like, shit, piss, and cum.
Yeah, sure.
And, the bath was, like, disgusting, bathing him when we got back. And then, but no, he was, like, excited, you know? He was doing his little, like, running around stuff, and he was, like, just kind of, like, jumping up and down and running and everything. And then he just immediately wanted to go on, like, a long walk, and he was running the entire walk. And then the rest of the day, he was just, like, done. Fucking conked. And then the next, like, 3 days, he was the most anxious he's ever been in his life.
Oh, man.
It's like he finally realized, like, dude, I'm back home. And for the last, like, what felt like a year for him probably, he was like, I thought you guys, like, gave me away. Right. You know?
Yeah.
There's no way he understands what's happening.
You can't get across to a dog that you're going to be back in 12 days.
Dude, one of us would, like, move too quickly on the couch, and he would be like... and we're like, dude, oh my God. And then he, like, couldn't get comfortable.
Poor little Boochie.
I know. We felt, as much as we were losing our fucking cool, we felt bad for him. Like, we knew what was happening. It's like, you know, you ever seen, like, nature footage of, like, a zebra evading a fucking, like, hyena attack or something?
Yes.
And you ever notice that, like, after they get away, they kind of, like, have this, like, whole body shiver that they do? They're like, like, they just... Yeah. It's like literally them shaking the stress off of what just happened, because if they didn't, they'd be like super high strung and wouldn't be able to fucking live, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And so I feel like that's what Bo was doing, like, for those 2 or 3 days. It was like his way of just like trying to shake off the last, you know, what perceptibly for him must have felt like so long.
Very long time.
You know? Like the longest he's been away from us for years. And in this place that he's not really, you know, he doesn't really know. Like, he must have been shaking all that stress off.
He's not really much of a dog. He doesn't really like hanging out with other dogs.
No, he's not. He is definitely more of a people pup. He's a people pup. And, so I kind of, you know, the lady that we dropped him off with was telling us, like, that she was going to take pictures every day and that give us updates every day, and she never did. She didn't do it once. We had to text her every, like, 2-3 days just to ask, hey, how's Bo doing? Is he eating okay? Is the activity okay? Blah, blah. And every time she would respond and say, Bo's great, Bo's amazing, we love having him here, you know, like, he's having such a good time, blah, blah.
All right.
And we're just like, well, then prove it. We're like, why do we have to, like, seek information about our fucking child that's staying with you, you know?
Prove it. Get him on. Let him talk to us.
Yeah, put him on the phone.
Put him on the phone. Where is he?
I want to hear his voice. I'm just like, Bo!
Bo, talk to me.
Bo, Dad's here.
It's your daddy.
It's your daddy, Bo. So that was kind of intense, and it got really old. But yeah, man, since then it's been so nice being back, and I even worked while I was down there and shit. So it was chill, dude. It was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And
you know what?
What?
Huh?
What?
I was just gonna say, do you know what I did in the little interim while you were on vacation?
I just have a feeling it's gonna be sexual.
It was a little bit.
I mean, everything you do is a little sexual.
I definitely did have a sexual experience.
Was it just mind or body?
Mostly mind, partly body.
And mostly sexual.
And 90% sexual.
Damn.
I saw the Mars Volta live.
Oh, that's right!
What's up, buds? Welcome to another episode of the Earbuds Podcast. This is a podcast where 2 good buds talk about one good album for a good amount of time.
Fucking wow.
On this episode, we're talking about the Mars Volta's new album, the Mars Volta. That was not a lie. I did actually see the Mars Volta live in concert.
I cannot believe I forgot that.
It was weird. Because they played in like a classical theater with the seats and the rows and the balconies. I was on the third balcony, obviously.
Was it weird like doing acid in a super nice theater?
It was like
it felt right.
Like it felt
it
good.
just felt really good.
Like,
yeah.
When the Mars Volta went up, all the people on the ground floor got up and were kind of in a pit together.
Oh, sick.
The whole time, my legs were like cramped because I was in the front row of the third balcony.
Okay.
And in front of me was a cement wall. That was the cement wall of the balcony.
Right.
And it was very close, and my leg was killing me the whole time. And I was not going to get up because I had a very good seat.
So couldn't you have just stood up, though?
Well, there were people behind me.
Oh, and everyone was sitting down?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. How are you going to sit down?
We were like fucking 20 feet up.
Dude.
We're not going to fucking stand up.
You can't sit down at a Mars Volta concert, dude.
They played for like 2 hours.
Okay, yeah, I'd sit down eventually. I love having I like having the luxury of sitting down, but I still get the fuck up, dude. If I see fucking Limp Bizkit in a goddamn theater, you best believe I'm getting up. I'm gonna drop kick someone off that fucking third floor balcony.
When I was standing up to get to the seat, I got vertigo because we were up so high.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, that happened to me in Austin at the Paramount when I saw some comedian there. I think it was Dimitri Martin. I was really fucked up, and same thing. Like I started going down the stairs, and I was like, oh, like I started like kind of leaning forward. I'm like, oh shit. So, but was it? I mean, it had to have been amazing, right?
The first band goes up. They're all right. I still don't know what their name was because
that's not a good sign.
Well, they were fine. They were like a moody, melodic band that was fronted by a woman who was possessed the whole time.
Oh God.
And the girl who was singing spoke in Spanish the whole time when she was talking to the crowd, so I could understand what she was saying.
In Seattle.
In Seattle, well, yeah, but most people in the audience could understand.
Because they're educated.
Mars Volta is from El Paso.
That's right. Yes.
And I think Omar is from Chile.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not.
I don't do research for this shit, you know.
I don't do research. They're just my favorite band of all time. All right.
Like, what are you supposed to know everything? I don't know where Matt Embry was born.
Balls here.
Yeah.
And I was worried, because this new album, we'll get into it. But like, contrary to what you may think, 23 minutes in, we are gonna get to it. I was worried they were just gonna play the album the whole time.
Yeah.
They played the 2 singles from the album, and the rest was like mostly deloused. A good amount, and like 3 or 4 songs from like Francis. There was like a song from Amputecture was what they opened up with.
What is it? Because that's like my favorite one of theirs.
It's whatever the first song is. Like Asilos Magdina or something.
I can't even. It's been so long since I've listened to it, but that's definitely my favorite Mars Volta record. Dude, that's awesome. They gave like the people what they wanted.
Yeah, and well, like they didn't play any Bedlam and Goliath, which is
a great record.
Fine.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite records. It's like my first Mars Volta records that I like really dove into after Deloused.
Yeah.
They didn't play anything from it. Fine. They played a song from Nocturnicate though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Nocturnicate, I think is like the closest thing to their new album. That you're gonna get from their earlier shit.
I thought that as well.
Yeah.
And then I went back to it, and actually Octahedron. I don't know if you've listened to that.
I liked it, but it was very different for them.
I think Octahedron was kind of the closest step to whatever this new album is.
But not even a midway point, dude. Nothing could have prepared us for what this album ended up being.
they've been threatening for a long time that they would do like a pop album.
Threatening.
It's been a threat.
Don't make us do it.
And you know what? They pulled the fucking trigger.
You motherfuckers were gonna do a goddamn pop record. Yeah, they made a fucking pop record, dude.
Is it good?
We shall break that down.
We'll talk about that.
Dude, yeah, that was I mean, first Mars Volta record in over 10 years.
Yes. A reinvention of the band, as they've said.
Which is why they made it a self-titled, right? Because
is something that I need to bite into for a second.
Like a reinvention? The reinvention thing?
The reinvention thing. Because they've done stuff before. They have that band Antimask. That they
love
made
Antimask,
an entire
man.
record. It was the same two people.
But they had like Flea and shit on it.
Well, Mars Volta records have had Flea on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Flea was touring with them for a long time.
I did not know that at all.
They are very tight.
Nice. Okay, so that makes sense because I thought that was so random for them to make a band together. What song did he play on albums or just like songs?
I believe he recorded bass on the first album and he did some horns on Francis.
What?
And he toured with them for a long time. I think up till like Bedlam.
That's fucking awesome. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Big Chili Peppers connection there.
Yeah.
They also hung out with the guitarist.
Frusciante?
Yeah, Frusciante. He did the first like two solos on Elvia.
Ooh.
Which they played fucking
so
dope as hell.
Good.
God, that show, it was really good. They haven't missed a beat except for Cedric, who has, from all the live shows I've seen, never really able to replicate what he does on record.
I mean, to be able to do that would make him too good. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because he's so good on every record.
Even in the first shows, like in the first records Mars Volta did, he's never really been able to replicate it. It's a lot of studio work getting those vocals to sound really good with the music. I get that.
Yeah.
For the most part, honestly, I had to give it to him. He did pretty well. 2-hour show. He's in this like 50s or something now, you know.
Yeah, crazy.
There were definitely some moments where it's like, ooh.
I mean, I've seen Deftones live like 4 or 5 times, and it literally was like every other show. Chino was like amazing, or just butt awful. Yeah. So I mean, you know, I forgot about Mars Volta honestly a little bit. Like I hadn't listened to them since Octahedron was their last one, right?
Nocturnicate.
Haven't listened to them since that. Since the first time I heard it, and I was just like, okay, like whatever.
And that was 2012.
And
but then we listened to Deloused for your podcast.
Yeah, which
unreleased.
So good, unreleased. Yeah. And you did a cover of one of the songs on that for that fucking podcast.
Yes, I did a cover of their final song.
Crazy.
Which is called, it's their most famous song, Inertiatic ESP.
Dude, there's so much, you put so much effort into that cover. I feel horrible that I've never released that.
Dude, no, I've listened to that cover like recently, and it is, my vocals are so.
I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I could do it better now.
Oh,
give me those stems.
Just give me another chance.
Now I'm lost.
So good. I didn't know how much I wanted a new Mars Volta record until I found out that a new one was coming out. And I got really excited for this album, dude. And then it confused the fucking hell out of me.
It's confused everyone. The first time I found out this record was coming out was from the first singles that they were putting out.
Which was Vigil, right?
I think the first one I heard is Blacklight Shine.
The first track.
Which is the first track, one of the tracks they played at the show.
I like that song a lot.
And I was like, okay, I kind of get it. There's like the very percussive intro.
Oh,
like,
that auxiliary percussion's so good.
Yeah, like Cedric speaking in Spanish for a good amount of the song. Like this
that's my shit with Mars Volta. That's what I want to hear.
Is kind of what I'm expecting.
Yes.
And then more singles came out, and then the album came out, and we weren't gonna do that for for like a
A
fresh
shorty
drop.
or freshie. Yeah, no.
You know, we want to like get into this. What do you think about this album in general?
Man, I was pretty fucking disappointed the first time I listened to it. After my first run through, I was like, what the fuck did I just listen to? Like, there were so many moments the first time I listened to it that I was befuddled.
It's just
Like,
it's
how is this the same
confusing.
band? Yeah, like, how can this
when,
possibly be the same band?
when I went to the show, this is my kind of gripe with them putting out this music under the Mars Volta and them kind of rebranding, reinventing the band.
Right.
When I went to the show, most of the people there were in their like 30s and 40s, guys that kind of grew up with these albums,
Right.
had Bedlam shirts, had deloused vinyls that they brought for some reason. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you just get excited.
Honestly, no offense, but I do think it's a little lame to wear the band shirt that you're seeing that night.
No way.
A little bit.
No way. I'm doing that all the time.
You do it every time?
Fuck off.
I mean, hey, man, that's what I said. I didn't want to offend. Jesus.
Well, you did.
No, man, fuck off. I just, I used to do it a lot as a kid, and now the older I see it, I'm just like, I mean, okay, anyway.
I love it. I think it's just like showing your respect, man.
Yeah,
just like, hey, man.
It literally shouldn't bother me at all. And it doesn't.
But it does.
But it does.
And everyone singing along to every song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except for these new two, which is, it is a new album, but I don't think anyone there found this band through this album. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this is anyone's first Mars Volta album.
No
and
way.
it's also not the kind of album any Mars Volta fan would really want from this band. So who is this album, who is this rebranding for?
This is for them.
Because you're not bringing in new people from it.
This is for them.
It's for them.
This album was a 100% like selfish choice. Like, they know what people want from Mars Volta. They probably don't really have that in them anymore. Like, how much of that shit can you possibly write?
I mean, that's I saw an interview that at the Drive-In Reunited, right? And they kind of put out a new album, which I hadn't listened to.
Me neither.
And they were playing that kind of music, and they were like, yeah, man, like, this aggressive music, it's still good, but it's not what we want to do anymore, especially after that at the Drive-In reunion. But what I'm saying is, it wouldn't be the first time y'all have done something under a different name.
That's true. There was nothing stopping them from putting this out as... I mean, Cedric has so many side projects.
I mean, Omar releases new albums like every month.
Yeah, and Omar's in a ton of bands. There's one that's really good that I can't remember the name of right now.
Bosnian Rainbows?
That's a good one. It was called Anywhere, I think. I think that's one of his, and they're great. Yeah, man, that's what I totally feel you. And I honestly didn't think about that at all. I just thought, what a weird choice to make, you know?
It's just an odd choice. It makes it seem like they're gonna kind of run with this thing for a while and still make new stuff. Like, there's gonna be a second album after this, and maybe a third.
I wonder where they go from there.
That's what it seems like they're doing.
It seems like if you're literally like clean slating your band, like just no expectations is almost what that means to me. It's like, don't have expectations on what this is gonna be. Like, it's gonna be what it is.
Even the album cover itself is like, it says the Mars Volta kinda, but a lot of times it doesn't. It's this weird like gold plate thing, almost as if to say this is kind of like a new thing. We don't quite know what we're doing either, but like, maybe it'll develop into something cool.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like this was it felt super deliberate on their part, and honestly, it's very much for them, and it might be even more for, I think, Cedric, because a lot of the album was written as kind of this thing that's going. It's about this crazy shit that's going on in his personal life right now that involves the Church of Scientology, fucking Danny Masterson, the dude from that '70s show, and Cedric's wife.
Really?
And so if I read this correctly, and I'll edit this out if I fucking completely misread this shit, but I think a lot of this record deals with the fact that Cedric's wife and 2 other women have come forward accusing Danny Masterson of sexual assault. And he's literally on trial right now, like currently, like fucking today, about this, like for this shit. And apparently Cedric's wife is like one of the women.
When I read the lyrics for this album, like
some
Cedric
kind of
himself,
on the nose stuff, man.
Cedric has been saying like these lyrics are a lot simpler. It's a lot less coded in layers and layers of metaphors and similes. I am a little dumb, so it was still like there were still a lot of lines and words that I couldn't quite grasp. But it seemed like there were a lot of themes of control and betrayal on this record.
A lot of fearful sounding songs, like a lot of songs that sound angry and scared in the lyrics, kind of definitely bring that through. There are a few moments on the record that had the like kind of hopeful feeling a little bit mixed in, but yeah, man, a lot of the album was like kind of heavy, and it's weird to write a pop record dealing with such a heavy fucking theme. But I mean, in like fucking Shore Story, there's that line that we make them nervous because I know they're listening, or because we know they're listening, or something like that. Which is, Scientology has been like fucking Scientology's crazy, and they like spy on people and fucking harass people and like dig through their trash and fucking threaten people and shit. So that was a big thing that is a big part of this trial with Danny Masterson, is that a lot of people are saying that the Church of Scientology protected him. And they tried to scare these women out of telling people that Danny did this to them. Yeah. So like, there's a whole fucking organization going against these people right now, and I think I also read somewhere that they recorded this album kind of in secret because of that a little bit. That they didn't want people to find out that they were recording an album about essentially like Scientology and the shit that they're dealing with. Yeah. So they apparently recorded all their sessions. Like, they didn't put them in any sort of like digital memory. Like, they didn't leave it on hard drives or computers. Like, all their recordings, they all did CDs. They burned at the end of the day, they would burn what they did on a CD and take it home, and they didn't put it anywhere. Like, they were like super fucking kind of secretive, and it sounds like paranoid about this record. You know? Right. And there's a lot of that like tension. I feel like you can feel it in the music, because there are like we've said that this is a very different Mars Volta record. It's a pop album. It's fucking weird as shit, unexpected. But there are still some very Mars Volta classic things happening at times on this record, especially in like the lead guitar stuff and in the vocals.
I mean, there are tracks like "Que Dios te maldiga en mi corazón."
Ooh, yes.
And the Requisition. Those are kind of more what I expected of like a pop Mars Volta record, where it's that Mars Volta interesting, weird musicality, some Latin grooves.
A lot of salsa. Like, if they decided to make a salsa band, I would listen to so much of that, dude. They do it so well, man. And that Latin-y feel that they were able to bring in, and they still had the psychedelicness, the weirdness going on at the same time.
Most of these songs, honestly, don't really have that Mars Volta soul to me. I know that's bad to say, because obviously it's the same 2 dudes. They feel passionately about this record. They obviously put a lot of work into it, and they believe in it.
But dude, listen to fucking Vigil. Listen to Collapsible Shoulders. It's like, what are these songs? Like, who is this band? No Case Gain. Oh my god, dude.
It's just they're like one of my favorite bands of all time. I'd say they're in my top 2 favorite bands of all time. Yeah. Yeah. And I really wanted to love this record. I really wanted to like this record.
It didn't grow on you?
It did a little bit. Like, the more I listened to it, the more the songs separated themselves.
The more you knew what to expect, right? Like, the more, like, after that first listen, every listen after that got better because I started understanding what I was getting into. That first one was like, I was bummed.
Yeah, I was
bummed.
I thought like, okay, like I must have missed something. Like I definitely need to listen to this like 3 or 4 times before the next episode because I probably missed something. It happens often with albums that I'll listen to.
Yeah, you don't catch on to a lot of things.
No, it takes me a second, you know? And so it's not uncommon, but on this record, it was like, it never really took that 90-degree right turn that some albums we listened to did.
This, for me, I agree, it didn't take a 90-degree turn. It definitely didn't go, I mean, it didn't take a 180, I think is what you're trying to say. I'm not sure. Where you hate it and then you love it, you know? Because 90 degree is halfway between those two, and I think that's where I landed. Like, I'm right around, I took like a 90 to like 100-degree turn from my first one, because it did grow on me. Like, every subsequent listen, like, I liked it more, because I knew what to expect. And there's really only 2 songs that I really can't sign off on, and I can't stand. And it's Vigil and No Case Gain. I can't stand either of those fucking songs.
Well, sir, we might have an interesting conversation later.
Pretty soon, but I wanna posit something to you before we go into our favorite songs.
Yeah.
And our honorable mentions. And my chair's fucking loud. The first time I listened to this, the main thought I had was, you know, like how Rx Bandits like changed so much throughout their trajectory, right? And like,
yes,
all of a sudden they became like this prog rock band, and they kind of circled back and started bringing back some of their reggae stuff a little bit after that. But Mandala specifically, your favorite album,
yes,
of Rx Bandits, Mandala specifically, to me, when I first heard it, I thought, okay, Rx Bandits are officially trying to do their best impersonation of Mars Volta. And I was like, sounded so heavily inspired by Mars Volta to me.
Sure.
And listening to this album, I thought Mars Volta sounds like they're trying to do their best impersonation of Rx Bandits.
Really?
Yes. There's a lot of stuff in here that sounds like Rx Bandits to me. Like, Que Dios te maldiga mi corazón, like, that, na, na, la, na, la, la, like, and they're like, like, there are many moments on this album that I'm like, dude, this sounds like Matt Embry could be singing on this, and it would sound in place. All the electric piano that they use throughout this album, which like Rx Bandits uses that a lot. All the little like type of things you hear in the background, very reverbed. All that organ, like just that kind of like those surges of organ that happen, and all the little synth work. I'm like, this sounds like it has gone full circle, and Mars Volta is writing an Rx Bandits record.
I don't think it even has. This is cruel, but I don't even think it has like the innovation or creativity of Rx Bandits at all.
I don't think so either. That's what I mean. Like it felt like a cheap imitation of Mars Volta, which is like at first what Rx Bandits sounded like to me when they were playing on Mandala. I was like, this just sounds like you're trying to be a different band.
Right.
And so that's what I mean. I'm like, now this album is so not Mars Volta that it sounds like they're doing an Rx Bandits impression of Rx Bandits trying to be Mars Volta. You know? And it's like, so it's even more layers of just like removing the quality behind it, you know?
Sure.
But I gotta say, there are some things I liked a lot. Like, I think the musicianship is fucking amazing. 1,000%. The musicianship on this record is incredible. Sure.
Yeah.
It might not sound as like intricate, right? Like, it's not as like proggy or intricate.
It's definitely not as in your face, showman-y as most other Mars Volta records have been.
Yeah, not a lot of like there's like a lot less of that fucking jazzy craziness. Yeah.
There's like a moment at the end of Vigil where the drummer is doing this like little snare roll. I was like, oh, okay, yes, like the drums are pretty active on this record.
Drums are amazing on this record. Drummer. Yeah, Willie's fucking incredible on this album. No?
Well, no, like it's great. It's not like there's just no moments. It would be weird if they did more Mars Volta-y drumming on this album. Like it wouldn't fit.
No, because there's a lot of songs that it definitely wouldn't work on, but man, the songs where Willie had to like hold back, I didn't enjoy as much. All the songs where he's just kind of like doing little like marching beats or just doing really simple, rhythms. Like I want to hear him like,
wasn't it wasn't it the chick who did the first like Inertiatic demos doing the drumming on this?
On the Wikipedia, it said that it was someone named Willie. There was a woman played bass on the album.
Oh, it was the bassist. Okay.
Yeah.
But Willie was doing drums.
Willie was drumming, man, and I thought he was my favorite. He was my favorite part about the record. Great bass playing, like we already mentioned. Fucking cool lead guitar work. Like he pretty much all the lead guitar work pretty much just sounded like old school Mars Volta. But they paired it with this like kind of poppy, more alternative version of them, so it stands out even more to me, and I liked it even more.
I mean, Omar is one of my favorite guitarists of all time. And
yeah, he's awesome.
He just knows how to make that fucker sing.
He definitely has like a certain way with it, man. Like I haven't heard anyone else that plays like him.
Like all the basis of the scales he uses for guitar are already different than most other guitarists. And I think that just like all of his like lead guitar parts on most Mars Volta songs are so out there and weird.
Yeah.
But it still fits in with the song. There are a couple moments on here. I feel like it's a little safer on this record for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, can he really go off, the way that he does on fucking... What am I listening to right now? That sounds like a ABC Family song. Cerulean.
Cerulean. Yeah.
Like, there's so many... It's just such a different vibe on this album, man. But, again, like, Cedric's voice, incredible, creepy, beautiful, hypnotic.
It really, he brought it again with this album. I was actually kind of scared. Like, what has 10 years done to this singer? But like,
he hasn't fucking skipped a beat.
Step.
Not one. Yeah, that like he still sounds amazing. And I liked the kind of like 90s grungy pop and like 80s power ballad kind of stuff that was sometimes on this. Like, and the production overall was just fucking beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
On point. So with that said. Choice nugs?
Choice nugs. Let's do some
choice nugs. All right. Well, of course, we always like to preface the choice nugs. We like the little amuse-bouche before the choice nugs of our narnable mentions, man. So, do you have any nars? Are you narred out?
I got nars. Don't worry.
You got nars? You got nars for dars?
I got my narnable mentions all lined up, all in a row.
All right.
I really like the Requisition. Yeah. I don't think it was a great ending song, but I thought it did a lot of interesting stuff.
Really aggressive and dark. I literally put the same thing, that it was an interesting closing track.
Graveyard Love I think that was the second song they played at the live show. Walk behind me.
Walk
I like that.
Me again. Yeah, very 80s.
And Kadios. What I'm
Kadios.
into, I think was. I wish that song was longer. I wish that song wasn't a minute and a half.
I know.
I know they could have gone I know Omar could have expanded on this.
That's a 7-minute epic. That's just like we saw the egg. Like it's gonna be a full-fledged chicken on the next record. I'm convinced. Like they're gonna have to like flesh out that song because it could have been a 7-minute epic.
It really could have been. It had so much potential.
Yeah.
But the shortness kind of kept it from being a choice.
Yeah.
And those were my main couple narnables.
Nice. Well, I think Blacklight Shine is definitely a nar for me. I thought it was a good opener for the album, and it does set you up pretty decently for what the album's going to sound like.
Yeah.
Love the Spanish vocals and stuff. I love when they do that. All the phasery guitar. And it was such a great introduction to like, this is what the drumming's going to sound like on a lot of this record. I'm like, I'm into it. Cerulean, I liked a lot. That was the one that kind of sounded like a power ballad a little bit. It sort of takes you on a journey. I love all the harmonized group vocals in that one. That's like that really soaring fucking organ. or whatever that just adds a lot of like emotion to the song. I liked it. Super poppy, but they pulled it off. Flashburns from Flashbacks, I thought is a really cool song.
One of the few songs where they actually like say the song title in the song.
Yeah, they you could have rolled credits when that moment, but it was like cool staccato, you know, nice twinkly piano. The vocals are kind of sexy, whispery vocals, and that's pretty much it, man. Like there's the songs that I like a lot, I fucking love, and but there's a lot of flyovers on this one for me.
Well, let's get into our choices, baby. My first one, I'll just go first.
Yeah.
Is Black Light Shine. It's the first song on the album.
Okay. You're just gonna let me talk about it for like 30 seconds and not.
Yeah, and I didn't want to
bury the lead.
Yeah.
Make me look like a fucking idiot.
You did all the work for me, and I could just say, I really liked that one.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, ditto.
They did it live, and I understood a little better in the live show context, like how it kind of fit into the Mars Volta, you know.
Yeah.
The percussion is super nice. They had Omar's brother, who's been in the band since the beginning. He was doing percussion and keys.
Nice.
And it's like I don't know what it is. It's like a nursery rhyme. It's like, yeah, you know, kind of.
I love the melody, man.
It was just like it came in. It was just like very catchy.
And that like the one before, like the melody right before that, like yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I love all the auxiliary percussion on that track too, man.
Very nice. I wish we had more percussion on this record. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. The times where they did this, like they had the bongos and all that shit going on, it's just so cool.
Yes.
It just worked every single time for me. Well, I would, you know, we already mentioned one of my choice snugs, and I fucking hate that it's only 1 minute and 41 seconds, but it is Que Dios te maldiga mi corazón.
It was so close to being one of my choices.
Que Dios te maldiga mi corazón.
It's just the whole song just has like such a good fucking vibe to it.
Yeah, that salsa piano, that like kind of that Latin jazz, ding 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 ding. Like, come on, dude! Like
the vocals on it.
The vocals were great. The percussion was killing it. The way it opens into the chorus and it gets like super Mars Volta-y with that like distorted guitar and the group vocals, just that wall of sound. It just feels like chaotic, but it's such a great rhythm. You kind of have to relax your ears and just kind of groove to it, you know? Yeah. Just wish it was fucking longer.
I just like this could have easily been like a 7-minute song.
Easily.
And it would have been so good, but they were just like, no, it's a pop record, so nothing could be over 4 minutes.
But it sounds like a pop song. It actually sounds like a pop song that Mars Volta wrote.
It sounds like a Mars Volta song.
Yeah, but it sounds like, you know, that like that melody. I'm just like, that's a pop song. Like, that sounds to me like the best version of what Mars Volta pop could sound like.
Yeah, but they just that little activity, that aggression isn't really what they wanted on this record in the end, you know?
No.
Which is like,
but the moments that it happened were just like, I loved it. I held on to those tight.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, and then it's just like it's going so good. You're just jamming to it, and then it's just burnt, and then it just ends. It's like,
I know.
Fuck.
At least Cerulean is a good song. You know, like the next
nice
one
to
is
go
nice.
Into.
Yeah, the next one's nice. What's your second choicey?
I think you already know what it is, boy.
I'm worried that it's Vigil.
It's Vigil, baby! Come on!
Stab me in my pig heart.
Forget about it. Eat some fucking square pizza. Go back to Chicago.
Oh, I'd love to. You got square pizza?
Is it not a catchy song?
No,
is
wait,
it not
real quick.
just like something you're kind of grooving to?
I don't know. All I can think of is pizza now.
It's like a nice pizza where the cheese is under the sauce, baby. You just gotta love it and appreciate it.
Like a Chicago deep dish, hey.
It's a little deep dish, baby.
Right by the lake.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Baby.
The fat bees. Yeah, baby.
But it's
I want a
just
deep
like,
dish pizza.
I don't know. I feel like this is the kind of pop they were going for, regardless of the Mars Volta like thing. I like the little like synthy bass that happened on the centrifugal ways of love.
Yeah, this sounds like Elton John mixed with David Bowie to me.
You don't think that's a good fucking combo,
And the
baby?
wow, and the weight, and the I can't do it, man. I feel like it feels so unnatural for them. I'm surprised it's one of your favorites, man. I thought you were gonna hate this song.
No, of course I'm not gonna hate it.
What, of course?
I don't. Well, there are Mars Volta songs I do hate. They're mostly on Nocturne.
Really?
Kid.
Oh, okay.
We can get into that another time.
Yeah. Ooh, I'd love to. I'd love to force you to listen to that album 7 times to talk about it on this podcast.
Every time I go back to that album, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give it an honest shot, and then I just can't get through it.
Well,
anyway,
I was able to get through my second choice Nug real easy, and I really liked it a lot. And it was, I think it's pronounced Equus 3.
Okay, little Equus 3.
Equus 3, man. The synth was the fucking hero. The synth was fucking eating my lunch on that whole goddamn song, dude. Like, it sounds so much like Rx Bandits, this song. Like,
you think?
It's just, Equus 3 is the best example I have of how much this sounds like Rx Bandits to me.
What Rx Bandits are you going to? Like, what album?
I'm going to late Rx Bandits, Mandala and Gemini Your Majesty.
Okay. All right.
Like that fucking that sounds like something Rx Bandits would do. with those drums that, like, you know,
right.
And the chorus just hits so fucking hard every time on this song. That pain in my heart again, like, when they stop everything and he sings that line, and they do it every time. And I love that it's just like they're not above, like, no, this sounds cool, we're gonna do it before every fucking chorus. We're gonna do it again. Yeah, like I was so happy that it repeated, like, and it made the chorus hit so hard every single time. Just a good aggressive pop rhythm to this song, you know, like so many good melody changes too. It could easily, like, this song is very theatrical. Like, it could easily be used in a fucking movie scene of like where the good guy's about to die or something.
Sure.
You know?
I also feel like anytime the distortion is put on the guitar on this album,
yes,
I really like it. It's like a really good song to me.
Yeah, right? And like the drums are like also relentless kind of on this song. They just have this great driving rhythm.
Yeah.
All the synth stuff, like, just like in the background, just like this really light synthesizer that they're doing that kind of like fucking flicking the bean on the synthesizer.
You know how much he loves flicking that bean,
dude. Who doesn't love flicking a bean?
Well, let's get into a little thing I like to call ratings. This is
interesting.
This is a concept.
Okay.
Try to follow along with me here.
I'm with
0
you.
to 10.
Okay.
Do you know those? You know those numbers?
I'll learn as we go.
Okay. Well, there's some numbers in between that as well. We're gonna.
Sounds like a lot of counting.
The higher it is, the more we liked it.
Okay.
0 to 10. We're going to kind of put our little feelings in a concrete number that will be in that number forever.
This is an idea I can get behind.
You think you can get behind this? You think
this
is like a
I
good
support
thing for the
this.
show?
I'm voting yes on proposition ratings.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
let's try it out. We'll just try it out. We'll just try it out.
Let's try it out. Can I try first?
Go for it. See if you can. You just go for it, man. See, like, do whatever your
Just gonna
fucking
wing
heart
it.
tells you.
Just gonna wing the rating. I didn't know we were doing this, but I think I can get there. Not the Mars Volta record that I wanted. Not the Mars Volta record that I asked for. Didn't hate it.
Things, I think.
Didn't hate it.
Okay.
Don't interrupt me.
Is that okay? You're implementing a new rule that I didn't know about in the ratings section.
Yeah. Okay. Fucking just hold off for a second.
All right, fine. Whatever.
It definitely grew on me, for the most part, as a whole album. Oh wow! Mostly as an album, I like it. If we break it down into individual songs, I don't like it as much.
Yeah.
I think all in all, like I said, the drums and the auxiliary percussion like really made it for me. Cedric's vocals are a very close second, and then all the lead guitar and synth stuff after that is like just in order of things that I loved about this record.
Right.
The album did have a super heavy feel, like despite it being fucking quote unquote pop music. There were moments that like I thought, this kind of sounds like a Mike Snow song or something. But other than that, I'm like, this really did sound like Mars, just really fucking toned down Mars Volta to me. Well, the album is dark. It sounds frustrated. It sounds scared. And it's really effective in that way for me. Like, it really, to me, it really hits its stride halfway through the record. And that might be a mental trick that I'm used to. Like, that I might just, like, maybe my brain is, by the fourth or fifth song, it's like, okay, remember this? And I start liking it more. Or maybe they put their best shit in the middle. Because I feel like songs 5, 6, 7, 8 are, like, the best on the record for the most part. It worked for me. And at the end of the day, I like this album for what it was. In fucking all capitals. For what it was. It's not the Mars Volta record that I wanted to hear, but it's still a really solid fucking piece of music.
Well, in all capitals, could you tell me like what number you would rate it?
I'm gonna give this a capital. I'm gonna give it a capital 6.8.
6 point what?
8. 8.
8. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
You think I was saying 6.A?
I only heard 6.2.
Oh, really?
I had a Skype thing. I don't know.
I was.
Wow. I think I might be. Yeah, I'm lower than you on this.
Really?
One. Yeah. It might just be.
That's a goddamn shame.
It is a shame.
That's really a shame.
It really is, because
it's really that's a shame.
I love this band. Omar's one of my favorite guitarists of all time. I think he's one of the best songwriters of all time, just in general.
Jesus.
It's heavy claim, but yeah, he's kind of on the shit. He doesn't stop writing music,
That's true.
And I've just loved every single record from this band, sans Nocturnicate. I feel like it's not a pop record at all. It doesn't have any of the pop. Like, it has accessibility, but it doesn't usually have the catchiness or the danciness of pop records. And I also don't think it's the best toned down stuff they've done. I feel like Octahedron did all the kind of toned down stuff in a better. They did a better job of it.
Yeah, something that I didn't say is that I feel like this. I don't think this is gonna lose them some fans, and I'm not sure how many fans is gonna gain them.
I don't think it's gonna lose fans as much as it is just gonna. Fans of Mars Volta just aren't really gonna pay attention to this album. Yeah. They're just gonna maybe get a drink whenever these songs play live.
Right, that's the bathroom break.
It's just a very small blip at the moment. If this develops into a phase and it doesn't progress, it doesn't evolve, then it definitely can lose some fans.
For sure.
I have faith that if they do keep doing this, they will get better at it, and it'll get a lot better in general. Right now, though, I'm not a huge fan of it. There really aren't. There are only a couple of songs that I'm gonna go back to individually. I think the album is a bit too long for me to listen to the whole thing very often. And it's just really not as enticing as I'd like it to be.
No, I think it's an easy one, which is really crazy to say about Mars Volta. I think it's an easy background record.
Yes, I think it's a very fitting background record.
Yeah.
The drums are great throughout. It is pretty active drums despite the rest of the music. The vocals are a lot better than I thought, which I'm glad about. Yeah. Omar's guitar playing is fantastic. The synth work is really great. The musicianship is there. They're just 100%. Not really doing anything that's interesting me.
Right.
I do think the middle of the album is the better part of it. Uh,
You agree with me? Wow.
I agree with you in that. I think it starts
Wow.
at like blank condolences.
Yeah.
And it goes until like kind of like I liked No Case Game. um, it goes somewhere around there. Um, but as a fan, it was just I'm not gonna say it was disappointing, but man, it is really not. It's not what I wanted at all, and
Right.
you know, maybe that's part of why I'm gonna give it a lower rating than you. I'm gonna give it around like a 6.2.
So
Honestly,
not super low. I was thinking
it's
you were
not
gonna go
super
into the
low.
threes and fours here.
No, like I was thinking it was definitely gonna be between like I was thinking 5 and 6 and maybe a little above 6.
Okay.
I really hope if this is the end of all this, that's fine. If they do another album, that's fine as long as they take what they've learned from this
Yeah.
and they
Learn your lesson.
evolve on it. I don't think this is gaining many fans. I don't think any of the old fans are really digging this album. Uh,
Yeah.
we'll see how this affects them. Mars Volta, I love you boys. My favorite band.
Yep.
I wish you nothing but the best of luck, and maybe whatever. I'll save the Nocturnicate shit for when we get to Nocturnicate.
Yeah. Well, Ash, if this is the end of Mars Volta, I'm glad that I'm here with you at the end of all things.
At the end of it all, Lucas, I'm glad I'm here to hold your hand and kind of like digitally, I guess.
Yeah, give me your digits.
Yeah. Give me
Let me
those
see them.
fingies.
Let me see them digits, baby.
Thank you all for listening to this episode of the
Thank you so
podcast.
much.
You can find us on YouTube. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. We have the video version on YouTube if you want to see our ugly fucking mugs. If you want to see my good fucking hair,
Hey.
you can do whatever with that. I got a mullet going. If you didn't notice,
That's nice. I got a stained white T-shirt. Go look at me.
I got my Trader Joe's jacket just because
God, you just keep repping this fucking company that you don't like.
I can't say anything officially.
You signed an NDA.
I will say this hoodie does feel very comfy.
That's the thing. I know,
and it's a
I know.
nice cold day here in Seattle, baby.
I still wear T-shirts of the last company that laid me off, and it's because I just like them.
They just
like the
fit,
shirts.
and it's just
Yeah.
good. I don't know.
But every time I put it on, my soul dies a little bit.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
You can rate us if you want. You can
Please
comment
rate us,
us
actually.
if you want.
Yeah,
we
we need
have an
rates.
Instagram.
Yeah, we need rates and comments. What's our Instagram?
I'll tell you, Lucas. It's EBP cast one word.
EBP cast one word. That's easy to find.
That is so easy.
There's nothing
Lucas.
confusing.
It'd be hard to not find it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not. At least it's not 3 letters in a row that all sound exactly the same.
Right. Well, they rhyme.
It could be so many other words.
It could.
God damn
We
it.
could have done Earbuds podcast.
Yeah, why
No
didn't
one. No
we?
one wants to type in more than 7 letters at a time.
Why didn't we?
Who knows? Maybe Michael can be the head of our marketing. He wants us to have a new name anyway, so
Does he really?
we could just rebrand. Well, didn't he say that? He was like, "Yeah, kind of hard to find." Maybe
Wow.
you should rebrand or something. It's like, okay.
Well, I will say that after we've been uploading everything to YouTube, and I tag all of it with our podcast, like, we do show up now. If you search Earbuds Podcast, like, we're the first thing that shows up.
Oh,
so,
no shit.
Yeah, look our shit up on YouTube, man. There's a
Sure,
little
that isn't
addition.
your algorithm.
It might 100% be that I have, like, so much cache on my fucking browser of visiting our YouTube. Like, it could very well be. But honestly, like, if you're listening to this, our fucking YouTube videos, like, have a little bit more involved in them. Like, there's some extra jokes in there.
They have
and
some edits.
they have a lot of edits where, when we talk about albums or people, like, there's a lot of things that we do on the videos that we can't do audioly. So go check those out, man. And like Ash said, give us a like, a subscribe, a comment, a follow, a rating would actually be fucking dope. We need more of those. And thanks so much for listening, guys. What did you guys think of this album? Do you love it? Do you hate it? We want to know. Ash, next week we're talking about someone that I actually know and wanted us to listen to their record. So we're going to be talking about David Beck's newest record called,
Bloom and Fade.
Bloom and Fade. Thank you. I was pulling it up. Yeah. We'll, buddies, listen to Bloom and Fade by David Beck before next week. And thanks so much for listening. Ash, this was pretty...
Lucas, this was pretty. This was a pretty podcast. I
Good
think
job.
in general, just aesthetically speaking.
Good job.
Good job. Hey, great show. Good job.
Hey, good job.
Tim and Eric, great show. Good job.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely.
Tim and Eric, awesome show. Great job.
Tom goes to the mayor.
12-ounce mess.
Moral oral.
Boondocks. Really? You're out? Let's go.
Aqua
Let's
Bats.
fucking
No,
go.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, eat shit.
Fuck you.
It's too late. The buzzer rang.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.